All right, my friends, welcome to our recap for day 2, AI Advantage. This is a 3-day journey and we're 66% of the way. 66.66% of the way. Well, let's jump straight into it. Day 2 was filled with a lot of practical exercises and a lot of practical revelations. What I took away right from the get-go was you got to look at AI as an amplifier of you. You got to look at AI as a productivity boost. And tonight, I'm going to show you, just jumping straight into a tool, how you can begin to maximize some of these things that were taught. Right off the bat, if you haven't already gotten your GPT or your Gemini or your Grok or your Claude, you need to do that. And honestly, I'll just tell you, I think GPT will be the best place to start. But if you are not able to get GPT, right, maybe Gemini. So I'm going to show you Gemini. Gemini is a favorite for certain things like light coding. I like using Gemini. But when it comes for the more textual things, I like Claude for writing. I also like Claude for web development in HTML. But I like Gemini for its all-round nature. It's an all-rounder. So let's jump straight into Gemini. So this is Gemini right here. When you're interacting with artificial intelligence, you got to come with a natural language about you. And a lot of what we learned today is about executing the mindedness. Let me give you a very quick example. The use of the microphone right here is second to none when you're using AI because you can give it commands pretty quick. I'm a musician, and I am looking to create 5 pieces of content. I want these 5 pieces of content to stem from one overarching theme. And the theme is practice makes perfect. Practice your chords and scales. Ask me any questions that you need to enable you create world-class content for me. These 5 pieces of content could be a contrarian idea, it could be a list of things, it could be an emerging trend. Go ahead and ask any questions. Boom. And off we go. And it says, to ensure the content is truly high impact for your audience, I need to know a little bit more about you and your target audience. Here are the questions. And then it asks you questions and you go back and forth with it, just like you're seeing me go back and forth. My primary audience, they are intermediate players. I play the piano primarily. The platform is YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And my common belief about practice that I personally disagree with is practice can be anytime, any day. I think practice needs to be intentional and it needs to be scheduled. Don't rely on dumb luck. I want the tone to be inspiring and motivated. Now, did you see how I used the power of technology to answer all its questions? I used tech to satisfy tech. Then I hit enter, and this thing is going to create my content for me. Content idea 1, content idea 2, boom, boom, boom. Done and dusted. So I just wanted to make it extremely clear that all that Dean and Tony and all the awesome guests have been talking about is not just smoke and mirrors, because as I was going through the YouTube comments, I found a lot of people, they were complaining that, hey, this stuff isn't pragmatic enough. I need something practical. So the reason why I'm doing these sessions is so that people can understand it's not just smoke and mirrors. You actually can get all the mileage they're talking about from the tools. Okay? Let me show you another mind-blowing way you can get value from your GPT right quick. So I know Sabrina shared a lot of great stuff, and I know for many of you, your heads were spinning, right? Sabrina Romanoff shared a lot of great stuff. And I want to show you a very simple way you can execute some of the things she was talking about. First of all, she talked about how with vibe coding, she developed an app and it's got thousands of paid subscribers and so on. Well, that may not be your target, but with vibe coding, as we call it, you're able to vibe with the tool and you're able to get your own mini apps or your mini productivity things. Let me show you one very simple idea. Let's just go back into Gemini. Now here in tools, you want Canvas. Canvas is your friend when you're trying to do this vibe coding thing. And as an example, I'll just ask it to vibe code for me something productive. I need you to develop an app that will help musicians with their rehearsal times and schedules. I want it to be such that the power of Gemini will assist them in scheduling. So I want that API functionality to be in the app. At the end of the day, I'll share the link with my subscribers. So I need you to develop this app daily. There are things that we should do as musicians. One day can be chords, one day can be melody and harmony, the other day could be scales, and depending on what they do, if you're singers, it could be practicing certain nuances or riffs and runs that you haven't ever done in the past. Go ahead and you can use whatever you like, Python, JavaScript, HTML, whatever you need, just use it. But we're going to keep it in the contained environment. Boom. You can go back and listen to what I said and you can create your own. But right here in front of you, I am developing an app that is going to help me schedule my rehearsal time. I don't need to worry about the coding. As you can see, all this code, I know it looks intimidating and scary. Don't worry about the code. Leave the code alone. But boom, there is your app in seconds. I mean, this is the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that you can do. So what's my focus? Piano. My 7-day goal is this. And I can generate a 7-day intentional plan with the help of AI, right? So I just click on that green button and the tool through its API is going to develop a plan for me. Could not generate the plan and show your prompt is clear. So maybe I needed to give it more information. Let's see. Getting better in the game. So what I could have done before putting this in, actually, let me see if it will give me what I'm looking for. But one of the things you can do as you use this tool is go back and forth. So if there are bugs, for example, I can come back in here and I can hit that. And if it doesn't respond accordingly, I could say, okay, API generation failed, fix error. This is a great example of how you can go back and forth between what you're trying to do and Gemini itself to get Gemini to clean up those bugs. And you just keep going back and forth. You just keep saying fix error until all the errors are fixed. So it's still, you can see thinking over here. But I've done this so many times that I know when it is done, it'll give you a finished product. The same way human coders have bugs in what they do is the same way you could. Let's generate that plan based on what we have there. So mastering the F sharp minor scale and its arpeggios. Oh, that's a very horrible key. But anyway, boom, there it is. Friday, day one. So it knows that today is Friday. How cool is that? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's given me all that I need to do, which is pretty remarkable. Let me copy that again, okay? So when you're done with what you've developed, if you wanted to share it, you just hit share and that, and then you expand it, and it should work as long as your users, whoever's using that thing, is logged in to Google. It should work. So let's try this again, because now we're outside of the Gemini environment, just in a vanilla flavored Google page. But if you are logged in, it will use your API key to do this. So there we are. Practice the F sharp natural minor. I won't bore you because I know some of you aren't musicians, but I did this to illustrate to you that there is power and reality in everything you've been taught on day 2. Okay? Now, going into more of the depth of day 2, and by the way, if you got any questions, do let me know. But going into more of the depth of day 2, I'm going to try my best to cover this extremely quick. Otherwise, this could take an hour. I don't want it to take an hour. My target is about 15 minutes. So day 2 started off again with Dean giving an introduction. And in the opening, Dean emphasized building a strong foundation for AI success through mindset and belief. And I quite like what they've done all throughout. They give you a lot of mindset, a lot of belief systems, rather than jumping straight into tactics. So the stuff that I did first, I did that because I know some of you have attended it and you've already got the mindset. And I wanted you to get what you've been asking for, some practicality in what you've been asked to do. Dean argues that the true transformation comes from shifting how one thinks, using time, seeing opportunities, drawing from historical tech shifts like electricity and the internet. And Dean, he pretty much led an interactive goal-setting exercise, urging us participants to define ambitious 90-day goals. Think about them as BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. Identify the obstacles, brainstorm for solutions like emotional whys, and consider the costs of inaction. Now, I want to give you a very practical illustration, something similar to what he did. I know a lot of you have got GPT on your phone, or maybe you don't. Maybe you don't have GPT on your phone. And my question to you is, wow, why don't you have GPT on your phone? You should. When you have GPT on your phone, it becomes your mobile assistant, following you everywhere, and you're able to discuss with it at any time. Let me illustrate that to you. This is my GPT. I am going to go into voice mode, okay? I am going to hit that button, and you're going to hear me interacting with my GPT, similar to what Dean showed you, okay? Hey, Bert, how you doing?
Hey, Phil. I'm doing great. How about you? How's your day going so far?
My day's going awesome. So I'm giving a summary of how to maximize you. In other words, AI. So listen. So what I need you to do, I'm trying to illustrate to my viewers right now how you can help them with their goal setting and optimization. So I want to learn how to play the most dreaded instrument, the trumpet, and I want to do it in a month. Give me a blueprint for how I can get this done.
All right, I got you. Let's break it down into 4 weeks. Week 1, focus on getting your lips used to the mouthpiece. Practice buzzing and just get those first notes out. Week 2, start learning scales, get your fingers used to those valves and work on breath control. Week 3, pick some simple tunes, play them slowly and gradually build up speed. Week 4, polish those tunes, practice daily and record yourself to see progress. Stick to it and you'll be sounding great in no time.
Okay, Bert, thank you very much. Now let me illustrate your versatility. I want you to illustrate that you can speak in absolutely any language and give advice in any language. So why don't you start off with my favorite language? Bonjour, Bert.
Bonjour, Phil. Je suis prêt. Je peux parler dans n'importe quelle langue que tu veux.
Okay, let's switch it up. In Arabic, say Dean and Tony are the best. Say that in Arabic.
Dean وأنتوني هم الأفضل.
You're so versatile. Okay, thank you very much, Bert. I'll see you later, okay?
You're very welcome, Phil. I'm always here when you need me. Take care and catch you later.
Later. All right. So I treat it like my assistant. Honestly, if I ask it questions, who are my mentors? Who are my coaches? What is my mindset? It will tell you my work philosophy. Why? Because I have trained my clone. Now, this is something Dean talks about towards the end, and he's going to give you an off-ramp to do that within the program. But I wanted to begin sensitizing you to the importance of building a second brain, as it were, a clone, so that a lot of the mundane tasks and even the more difficult tasks, your AI can help you get them done. So day 2 is obviously a lot more pragmatic, hands-on for this recap, and I want you to do the same. Download GPT, have a conversation with it. If you're multilingual, speak to it in French, speak to it in German, ask it difficult things. Say, hey, I want to build a 10-story structure all by myself with machinery and 3D printing. How will I do that? Ask it the most outrageous stuff. Take it for a test spin, and you will be amazed at what AI can do. It will give you solutions. It will give you actionable ideas. So what we gained from listening to our lessons with Dean today is this is the best time to take action. Take action now. Take AI action, massive action now. He shows you how you can cut a lot of the crud in your daily schedule. You can reclaim 15 hours weekly. All right, let's move on. He also has mentioned previously about the modern tractor, right? The modern tractor is AI, and it's non-negotiable because it can help you become wildly competitive, way beyond any other person. He talks about eliminating repetitive tasks like emails, just busy work that AI can do for you. And he says trade busy work for creative works. The 4 levels of success, again, which I think is brilliant. Activate, train AI on your goals and voice. That's 1. 2, accelerate, use AI for faster decisions. 3, amplify, scale ideas into campaigns. And 4, augment and extend your capacity like a digital team. So he encourages you to set one bold 90-day target, leverage AI to plan and execute, and track time, wins, and lessons. Track your progress, okay? I have a lesson here that I have prepared based on Dean's philosophy shared, and it'll take you 6 minutes. Step 1, open your phone, your notes on your phone or piece of paper, write 1 sentence answering, in 90 days I will have achieved X, using AI so that a heart-driven goal, right? Something humanistic. For example, in 90 days, I'll have 20 new coaching clients using an AI clone so that I can be the present dad my father never was. So what he's trying to get you to see is you got to use AI as a lever for your human advantage, to spend more time with your loved ones, to do something that your right brain, as we're going to hear from Arthur Brooks in a while, but so that your right brain can be freed to enjoy the things of life. What use is it if we're just using AI to be used? You get what I mean? So the end goal of your artificial intelligence use should be to free up time for the things that make you more human. And enter Arthur Brooks. This was great. Professor Arthur Brooks explores how AI enhances happiness if used correctly, blending neuroscience and behavioral science. He introduces a very big word here, and he did caution us, don't be scared. The word sounds big, but it's not as intimidating. And the word is hemispheric lateralization. And all that means is the left brain handles the complicated, solvable problems, analysis, efficiency, tech, the angular stuff. The right brain manages complex, unsolvable things, relationships, love, faith, and AI excels in left brain tool kind of tasks. But he also warned, don't be deceived by all these sites offering companionship with AI, because AI is a left brain thing. Using AI, a left brain thing, to satisfy a right brain thing is very questionable. So that was a joke in the session. And he cites rising depression and loneliness from over-relying on tech like dating apps, gaming, and he urged users to know your brain and use AI for what or how questions, not why. For example, why am I alive? And he gave an example of his son and the things his son holds valuable as a military person. So I would encourage you, if there was one I was going to listen to again very intently, taking notes, it's Professor Arthur Brooks, because what he shared is very different. I would say you don't often hear people breaking down how artificial intelligence needs to be used to satisfy left brain stuff, whereas right brain stuff needs to be solved with humanity, right? With natural living organisms. He gave an example of a pet cat in the flesh or a pet robot cat. And the question was, which one would you choose? And of course, you would choose the real cat. And you ask yourself why. It's because deep down, you know that there is that longing for that cat to have a choice and to choose to actually want to spend time, curl up on your legs. And you don't want it to be programmed and robotic, because that will not satisfy your human needs and inclinations. He talked about how happiness is all about enjoyment, satisfaction, meaning. He talked about love. That's a very important word. And when you talk about happiness, you can have all the gadgets in the world and still may not be happy. All the cars in the world, the latest and the greatest, the 500,000 Bugattis, you could have them and still be sad. So he said true success balances achievement with fulfillment. And AI enhances clarity, not contentment, which are very big statements. He also shared that desire is infinite, but satisfaction is scarce. He explained how humans adapt endlessly and every win becomes normal. Every success fades. If you let AI feed distraction, you become addicted to output instead of outcome. And he said, use AI to focus and refine purpose, to reclaim control over attention. He said, more does not make you happier, meaning does. He also says, manage desire, don't let it manage you. And again, resonating with what Dean said, let AI remove noise so your mind can choose better over more. He also talked about 4 habits of joy. The 4 habits of joy are WF3. What is that? Work, faith, family, and friendship. Work, not just working for the man, but working to serve others. Faith, believing in something greater. Family, love without condition. And friendship, invest with intention. So one more time, WF3, the 4 habits of joy, work, faith, family, and friendship. In conclusion, he said, let AI clear the clutter for deeper human work. Align values with innovation. And he said, technology plus intention equals fulfilled innovation. It's such a loaded session. At the end of the day, I created this quick exercise, right brain, left brain exercise. It's very simple. All you need to do is, on the left, think about a problem such as summarize research papers. And what does it do? It frees up your time so that what can happen? You can have coffee with your spouse, significant other, loved one. And it's all about balance. Okay, take a screenshot and follow the rest. I won't read it off the screen for you. Let's go on to Sabrina. I've already kind of covered a lot of what Sabrina showed. So I can probably boil down what Sabrina said in 3 big chunks. But let's first of all go over the big overview of what she covered. She shared her decade-long journey using AI to amplify personal branding and solopreneurship. This would be the second one I would watch if I were you. And remember, you can always watch them on ×2. But extremely dynamic, very charismatic, and spot on. Extremely accurate with all that she shared. And she has grown her audience from 0 to 1.4 million, which is extremely remarkable. 500 million views in 15 months while creating content one day. Truly remarkable lady to follow. And on top of that, she shared how the 3 big buckets, 3 steps, ideas, creation, and publishing, that trumps everything. And you can use AI to amplify those. You can use AI for your ideas, you can use it for creation, and you can use it for publishing. And those are the three main things. Let me put them on the screen real quick. And I just said it's multiply, amplify equals advantage. Multiply ideas rapidly with AI, amplify ideas with AI, boom, you got an advantage. So for those of you content creators that are not leveraging AI, oh my goodness, I don't know how I can help you other than tell you to listen to what Sabrina has said, right? So she declared that the internet rewards clarity, not chaos. She also encouraged us to define our micro niche. Everybody can define their micro niche where passion meets your audience's problem. And let AI help refine, not redefine your message. Her reminder was pretty sharp. AI should sound like you, not replace you. And she turned strategy into self-expression, making AI feel personal and artistic. She said she wouldn't use AI to replace herself. She could use it to do things that typically she doesn't have to do. But when it comes to things that people consider like appearing on camera, she said she wouldn't compromise putting an AI avatar of her instead of her showing up for her followers. So that was a huge lesson. And think about it. This is what YouTube thrives on. It all boils down to publish. You can have all the ideas in the world, but if you're not able to create, act on them, dead in the water. So as a creator, use AI to amplify your ideas, to give you more ideas, multiply your ideas. Use AI to create and publish. And I showed you an example right out of the gate, how you can use AI for those things. Now, let me jump into an app that I developed because I know a lot of you folks, you're always looking for apps that you can use. If you go to my website, philc.net, I'm going to show you an app that I developed. And the more you go into the world of vibe coding and development, you realize that you can actually build a lot of these yourself. So going over to philc.net, all the way down here in the More button, you can find my image generator. Just scroll down and hit Begin Creating. This will open up my image generator within your own world of Google. So now you can use the advantage of being a Google subscriber to create imagery. So let's say I want an image of a guitarist soloing with his band, passion and determination over his face. He has a ponytail and is wearing leather pants and boots. And over here I can choose the resolution. I can choose the realism. Let's go for Unreal. And the camera, the almighty red. That's my favorite. And let's use a telephoto lens. Let's bring it down a little bit more. And the lighting and color, let's use cinematic, and let's use cool and futuristic. Hit generate image. Boom. Talking about content, you can generate tons and tons and tons. And see how quick that was. It took the entire prompt, and I built this app within minutes. The same way you can as well. In fact, if you go to my website and just bookmark the page, anytime you go in, make sure you're logged in, you can create stuff till the cows come home. Choose warm analog. It will give you a different view, different feel, almost the color palette will change a little bit, and you can do this all day long and very quick. Very, very quick. So all this stuff that Sabrina talked about is actionable. You just need to act on it. You just need to be willing to act. So I gained quite a lot from what she said. So turn one idea into many ideas with AI. Do batch creation using AI templates. Stay consistent without burnout. Sabrina's closing punch pretty much was perfection delays progress. And I hear this from so many other content creators. A great Grant Cardone, he was showing an example of how his camera guy, Johnny, for those of you who know Grant, Johnny has his big old red camera. It's all fancy. It's tens of thousands of dollars. And he said, look, Johnny, I'm going to show you with my iPhone of a few hundreds of dollars, I can be quicker, faster to market than you with your big old red. And then he turns on the camera, takes a photo or a short video, and within seconds he's posted it on Instagram. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of people are using big complex technologies as opposed to just getting it done. I'm not saying put out garbage, but a lot of times perfection is the enemy of your progress. It will delay you. A lot of you musicians, you're trying to make everything, it has to be 100% picture perfect. Is music ever 100% picture perfect? Even AI gets it wrong. Anyway, you get the idea. Use AI for feedback and iteration and let data guide direction. That's the summary. All right, so as an example of what Sabrina was talking about, I gave you that exercise in the beginning, but here's a final one. Just go ahead and freeze the image on the screen if you really want to carry it out. But she gave so many great examples. Open GPT and paste this prompt exactly. I help whoever your audience is with whatever your topic is. My voice is, put 3 adjectives, bold, relatable, no BS, for example. Give me 3 viral content ideas. 1 listicle, 1 contrarian, 1 hot take. And I showed you this, one personal story. I showed you this in the beginning, so you know how to do that. Let's go into the final, because I know it's late. I want to respect those of you who are looking to go to bed. We're on 30 minutes, which is better than yesterday, so we're getting better. So the final one is Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins and Mark Benioff. And if you know about Salesforce, then you know Mark. And in this interview, he asked him pretty much about the world of tech, the progress of tech. And I was blown away to hear how Mark uses AI for his keynote speeches. I mean, all the stuff that you would say a regular person who is not worth billions of dollars would do, all the same stuff is what he pretty much validated what not only me, but a lot of other people do with AI. Bouncing it back and forth. He talked about how he's driving back from work and he puts his AI audio on and he's asking AI to regurgitate stuff and to remind him of stuff and to tell, how is my company more competitive? Who are my competitors? What are my competitors doing? What is my competitive edge? What is my strategic edge over company X? And he was amazed that the AI tool knew what his competitors were doing. The AI knows what your competitors, whether they're musicians, whether they're institutions, it knows. So you might as well ask it questions because they may be asking their own AI questions about you. So Mark and Tony, they're bantering back and forth. It helped us understand exponential trends like AI costs dropping by anywhere from 9 times to 900 times annually. He talked about task complexity just doubling. So what used to be all human at Salesforce is now a huge chunk of it is done by AI, going to almost 50%. Think about that. That's crazy. Crazy. So Mark expanded the view to enterprise transformation. And I like listening to people like him who are more visionary. And he said the next productivity boom is not going to be man or machine. He said it will be man with machine. And that's what I've always said for the longest time. The person who's looking to take the job of the other is the person who is AI plus human. It's not AI alone. You need that human in the loop. He said AI should remove friction from workflows and elevate creativity. And he also emphasized that ethical design, having empathy. I don't know if you've ever heard of design thinking, for those of you who are into the world of IT. All that stuff, the continuous learning, It's an essential leadership skill in this age of artificial intelligence. And he said technology is at its best when it makes us more human. Wow. Think about that. He also talked about trust being the true differentiator. He said reputation now depends on how responsibly you use AI. Clients and employees want transparency, how data is used, how bias is handled, how models are built. And he said ethics is no longer compliance, it's competitive advantage. Trust is the new currency of innovation, protected like profit. Mark closed with wisdom. He said scale with soul. He said automation without meaning creates emptiness. Think about that. Makes you ponder, doesn't it? AI should elevate culture, not drain it. And he called on leaders to fill technology with vision, not vanity, because AI reflects whatever we feed it. If we infuse it with humanity, it magnifies progress. Take it from someone who has the likes of Apple, Disney, the big chains. They're all on Salesforce. For those of you who know about Salesforce, my goodness, multi-billion industry. If you really want nuggets for days, go listen to that interview between Tony and Mark. All right, I have one tiny little exercise for you in closing, and it's the V2 MOM framework: vision, values, methods, obstacle, measures. What do I want in 12 months with AI? Ask yourself that question. I know what I want. What do you want? What matters most? Freedom, impact, methods, top 3 AI actions. Build, clone, automate X, for example. And what's in the way? Ask yourself that question. How will I know that I won? Feed this into AI. Here's my V2 MOM. Make it punchier, more competitive, and spot one blind spot that I'm missing. And then you can also ask it to help you craft your AI vision. Now, how do you build a clone? Because we've been talking about clone. But if you wanted to build a clone, it's funny because Tony was mentioning how a lot of people think. A lot of people are scared still of AI. They don't want to tell it everything. Some folks are like, Phil, well, if I told it this, what if Big Brother checks up on me? Look, trust me, Big Brother can check up on you if they wanted to, if they really wanted to check up on you. So quit worrying. Let me give you the blueprint, my blueprint, because I've done this. As you can see with my interaction with my GPT, it knows a lot about me. If I was to ask it questions about my music or my favorite group, it'll tell you it's Take 6. If I was to ask it who's my mentor and my coach, he'll probably tell you John Maxwell. So my AI knows me. How does it know me? One, it knows my vision. It knows my values. It knows my principles. It knows my resume. It knows what I know, knowledge. It knows the skills that I possess. It knows which processes and technologies and tools I espouse. How? By discussing with it, by telling it, by giving it my resume, by being free with it, and then by specifying with ChatGPT, which is my tool of choice. I have a paid subscription, about $20 a month. But I tell it all of this stuff, and I opt for it to be protected, right? And trust me, all this stuff, it could find it because there's nothing hidden under the sun anymore. So you thinking that you're saving, your data by being a little bit stingy with it. No, just give it. What is your unique selling proposition, and what visuals of you? For example, I have animated versions of me. Talking about clone all the way. Like 11 Labs. I use 11 Labs if I want to clone my voice. I used this on my sisters once. I said, who's speaking? And it's you, of course. No, it's not me. It's not me. They could not believe that it wasn't me. They couldn't believe that it was my clone, my voice clone. So there are times you may need to use a clone, and all of this data, all of this information, you want to be able to do it. Okay? All right. We're getting towards the tail end but I want to invite you to ask questions. If there's anything that was discussed, the whole purpose of these recap sessions is for me to break it down for you. I love breaking this stuff down. You know, I've been using AI for quite a while. Started off with the world of Lambda. Lambda was my first brush with using AI for music. And then I started using it for other things. And then I started developing my own apps. You know, so I'm very comfortable with the world of AI. If you have any questions whatsoever, even if I'm not able to answer immediately, I'll find you answers. So feel free to do that. But let's bring this full circle because I want to answer the with him factor. What's in it for me as a creative? What's in it for me as a musician? Okay. Think about this theme. From bedroom beats to Billboard, with AI as your co-producer. How can you harness AI tools to accelerate creativity, collaboration, and success? Let's kind of run this by Dean's philosophies. Dean is very goal-oriented, and he said, come out with a big, hairy, audacious goal. Okay. Your goal, lock in a release-ready track in 90 days using AI. Step 1, write your 90-day goal sentence. Step 2, identify your obstacle. Some of us are our biggest obstacles, I'll just be honest. And 3, share in the chat. Well, that's not going to happen on this run, but I would encourage you to really go through the motions, right? What do you want to achieve in 90 days? Shout out to all of my AI Creatives Connect group members, because I know lots of you have been releasing stuff, and I want to give you a round of applause because you've taken the big step of doing the uncomfortable, but a lot of you are not there. Some of you, you have an obstacle. It's not that you get stuck on chord progressions. Your obstacle is over-analyzing, over-perfecting, or not asking for help. You got to ask for help. And one of the best people to ask for help, the best tools to ask for help is GPT, right? For us as musicians, generate 50 lyric variations. How will this satisfy your right brain? A 3-hour studio jam. Do you know the kind of joy that you could get from freeing up time to jam with friends? I love jamming with friends. So the stuff you do with AI, if you're, talking about people who play instruments, yeah, you can free up tons of time, but what are you going to do with it? Well, if I use automix stems, for example, then I can walk in nature for melody ideas. See, it frees up time for the humanistic things. What about if I create 10 cover art concepts? You know how long that would take my artists back then? But now, what could you do with that free time? Live stream and unplugged set. You see, you're trading what you get with AI for more humanistic stuff. And that's how we need to be thinking. All right? All right, my friends, over the past 40 plus minutes, we've been talking about day two. And to close day 2, this is your tractor moment. We talk about how the tractor was a change in how things were done. Do you know how much energy and sweat the tractor has saved man? It's unbelievable. But this is our tractor moment. AI is our tractor moment. I would highly advise you to join this group, AI Creatives Connect, because I will continue dropping all these nuggets. We're also planning our own symposium, seminar, summit for 2026. You want to be part of that. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And when this happens in 2026, Q1, you'll be notified. Okay? I encourage you to build your AI co-producer clone. I've already built so many personas in Suno that it's pretty much taking my caudal voicings and philosophies coupled with the great voices that we get in Suno and I know if I want to write a banger, I can. I can write a banger today because I have all of that in place. And you should do the same. You should build your own clone. You should find a persona, a voice that you like. You know, I call mine Lorna. My voice that I like is right there. I also have Tricky Philly for my acapella, and I call it Tricky Philly because I've taught it all the tricks of chord formations, the craziest chords that you would imagine hearing in an acapella song. I taught it. And you should do the same, whether you're into the world of hip hop or beats, or whether you're an artist. You know, a lot of artists, they're not capitalizing on AI, which is sad. You can teach the AI your drawing and painting style. You can give it the characters that you've developed. And you can even create an animated series with it. Okay? All right, my awesome friends. It's that time where we are going to say our goodbyes. But again, a massive thank you for those of you who came through. And don't forget, if you have any questions as we proceed through this curriculum, we got just a little bit left. Just a little bit. Tomorrow is going to be the last day. It's going to be the final. But don't forget to also tune in to watch day 3. I'm going to put a link below when this is rendered. Tune in for day 3. It's Saturday. For those of you who are just lazing around the house, chilling, that would be a good show to watch. Okay, and then we're going to have even more value according to Dean tomorrow, so you don't want to miss it. Okay, my friends, thank you all very much. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I don't see any. Everyone's gone to bed. Well, after the fact, drop a comment. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.